minutes before you said what you said in the chat. So I don't disagree with that right now.
All right, hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. I'm still hearing that other echo. Come on. Orthodox More, you there or you walked away?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to come on. I appreciate you. I wanted to come on and quickly address some stuff. Like, so
that DNA you heard in the video with the E1 with that stuff.
Yeah, I want to let people know that that YAP gang officially reached out to Damon Richardson on Facebook and try to interact with him, not about the Khazarian stuff because we don't agree with the Khazarian theory, etc. But we try to talk to him about the African Jewish genetic component and whatnot. The good brother James Cassell furnished the brother with some studies. Damon Richardson didn't take the conversation serious, and the information James Cassell introduced him was very serious information. So
now why? Because YAP Kang had concerns with what was being said with the West African connection, also.
Yeah, because Damon Richardson was coming with like the conscious community concept of like E1B1A is isolated in West Africa, kind of like it originates in West Africa.
Yes.
And that's not the concept. Like E migrated to West Africa, and so we were trying to dialogue with him based upon that concept. And so based upon his flippancy and not trying to take people serious, we're going to try to just do an official response video so we can just lay out the information for him respectfully, not trying to beef with, not trying to respectfully lay it out or whatnot, because he is citing archaic information. So when Dante talks about the Igbo having a genetic component that actually matches in the Levant, etc., we were, again,
now, wait a minute, y'all. This is serious stuff. Y'all know Orthodox been rocking with them, and we've been all throughout the discussion in the thick of it. Orthodox Moore's been in there. Now he's saying the same thing. Damon Richardson, I told y'all him and Dr. Bang too. Far as I'm concerned, out of the urban apologists, they're the top two. They up there. So now, if what he's saying, I'm gonna let him keep talking. I'm gonna see if this law. I'm gonna see what the other people in the back think about what's being said here, because this is serious stuff being said.
Right.
Yeah, I'm muting myself. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and on another level, I'm also the one who let Dante know he was E1B1B, that he was E-M34 or whatnot.
Okay.
I reached out to him. He let me see his GED match information or whatnot. And his DNA is important as well for people to understand, because it points out the fact that E was not isolated in West Africa, right?
And your side of Levant.
Right, and Dante's DNA is very important to look at because he doesn't have a high admixture of European DNA. So when you look into his GED match, etc., it seems as if his EM34 comes from East Africa, Ethiopia, Yemen, them kind of areas or whatnot, right? So the migrations have to get looked at, and they have to get justified as well. But they have to be looked at seriously and whatnot. Now, this does not back the claim that every West African is an Israelite, right? Or that everyone coming off the slave ships is an Israelite, right? But we gotta look at things now and look at the information and actually change what people are saying. Like, so Vocab is looking at information now and is able to come on with me and Abu and say, you know what, I can't deny that Semitic ancestry may have come over on the slave ships, but he's not going to agree that everyone that came over is an Israelite, right? That's reasonable. That's reasonable, right? But we can't be standing on this old claim of, just because some people are saying that all people that came off the slave ships are Israelite, we're going to make the opposite claim of no one that came off the slave ship was an Israelite. We got to really look at this thing. Yeah, 100%.
Because he gave you the impression too that there was no connection. Nobody.
Right.
Okay, go ahead. But he didn't say that all Jews were light skinned, because he bear witness with African Jews and all of that.
Facts.
Remember, and Ethiopia. Okay, go ahead.
But those same Jewish populations also have an admixture of genetics where they have E1B1B. They also have E1B1A as well, right? And so that's why we got to slow this one down, because Israel itself is a mixed multitude, right? Genetically, it's a mixed multitude.
Say that one more again, because if folk believe that, it wouldn't even be all this beefing right there. Say that part one more time.
Yeah, so Israel is a mixed multitude from the outset. And one thing that YAP does is we have a model to where we're looking at that, what that mixed multitude looks like in terms of a group of haplogroups, right? And so when you're looking at ancestry around the world or whatnot, and people claim to be Jewish or whatnot, they should have a genetic footprint that looks diverse. It shouldn't be monolithic or homogenous or whatnot. But to that end,
I hope y'all listening good. Go ahead.
But to that end, like, again, you asked a good question. Like, would I be dumb if I thought that if I thought I was hearing Dante actually justify some Europeans being Israel as well, right? So again, genotype trumps phenotype. I'm gonna say that one more time. Genotype trumps phenotype. So if there's somebody
you look like don't make a difference.
Facts. So if you're Ashkenazi, if you're Mizrahi, if you're Ethiopian Jew, and you have that EM34, EM84 marker, you have a connection to the same paternal ancestor. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you look like.
I'm going to charity them to hold on to that right there. So it could be some people in that land. So it's wrong to say everybody in the land is fake from your limited knowledge of DNA. And
yes, the YAP gang model is that we definitely claim that the E-market people and say that they potentially could be descendants of Abraham, etc., whatnot. And particularly when it comes to like the Sephardic and like the Ashkenazi Jews, they carry the same haplogroup that Dante has, up to like a 10% clip each.
So we can't hold on a minute. Now, Mother Love, don't start the Mother Love talking about what did the Bible tell us. What Mother Love said? Did the Bible tell us to look at our DNA? Oh boy, that's when I get my Christian thumpers in here. Hold on a minute. Kobe, come to the microphone. You hear what Moore's saying. You hearing all of this stuff right here.
Yeah, grace and peace, Berean, the panel, everybody in the chat. I was actually looking forward to that Dante response for Damon Richardson, and yeah, I got to agree. I think it's just the issue.
So you're going to tell me one of the leading Christian urban apologists got on here, 9,000 books, PhD, whatever higher degree in this thing. A leader. He the one to give Richard Carey that work. He the one polite and them running from. So you're going to tell me a leader got on here talking about DNA, making statements about Israel, the west coast of Africa. What are you saying? I hope you ain't saying Dante and the Israelites is right, because them Christians gonna run amok. And I ain't trying to help the awakening. I don't want them to think this is an Israelite channel. I just want to deal with the truth.
The thing is, I try to deal with the truth as well. And what's interesting is, I think the issue that Damon Richardson made was that he made a real broad statement, and he said, unless you have something that directly contradicts or goes against this study, which he believed to be the latest of that time, then no one has nothing to say to him. But like Dante said in his video, he is a walking receipt to Damon Richards' claim, because he has a very good chance of what would be considered one of the original Israelites, according to people like Moore and Abu, and from people from what I've heard. But the thing is, I like the way
Dante is unique in Israel. That's what I said.
Yes.
Don't try to be slick and slide your DNA for the whole community. But everybody got to show their paperwork in that sense. Because I do remember Abu being shocked with Dante DNA. Yeah, your DNA. Somebody running around here thinking they Israeli African, and it's all right to be a convert. We've already established that. So I'm trying to help y'all for the crush, because there's some people that took their DNA and come to find out they the caucus, they them other people. But they've been claiming Israel and they got a channel. It's okay. To be a convert is okay. I'm trying to make it smooth on everybody. Yeah. But go ahead, Kobe. So you're agreeing. I hate to even say it like that. Go ahead. I don't want to put words in your mouth, because they'll take what I say and.
Yeah, they do that with everybody. But I kind of feel the same. And I like the way Dante says it in his videos, and he makes sure to preface it every time he makes a claim. But I don't know that a lot of people listen. But he says, this is my own DNA. You got to see what's up with your own. However, if you have the same DNA as me, we could have a likely similar story. But everybody still has to check their own, because Dante's DNA is very unique, right? But the thing about Dante not affirming Europeans or people of color, I don't know about that, because Dante has been very open in saying that he thinks that I have a really good shot of possibly being from that area as well. You know what I mean? And like, look at me, like I'm not the darkest person in this conversation. So I think I think Dante is looking for to see if you've actually done your homework in this. And the thing about scholarship is it's like technology, right? And that was Damon Richardson's issue right there. He brought out a study thinking it's the latest and greatest and nothing's going to trump it. But scholarship is like technology. Once you think you got the latest scholarship, something else is coming out, right? So you got to constantly be on top of it, reading journals and peer-reviewed articles. And real quick, let me straighten up this peer-review thing.
So are you here saying that he was strong and wrong?
Yeah, Damon Richardson was
very strong. He ran and got his sip of coffee like, I'm giving these Negroes this work. I am not playing with fools. That's what you saying, Kobe?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, Dante put out a video the next day. You know, he had it scheduled for a while because it was his birthday and whatnot, but he responded. I'm pretty sure he did that night. You know what I'm saying? And this was Damon Richardson's, like, you saw him, you know, like if this was a KO, like he thought he KO'd somebody. I liked how he stood his ground and wouldn't let people sway him. But I think he should have been a little more quiet because then Dante got loud. You know what I mean? And it was like the next day.
All right. Well, he jumped on Sister Cherry. Hold on, let's let that. I hope y'all didn't know this again. This way after that well, people would say victory because a lot of people say Damon Richardson came on Berean and gave them that work. I felt some type of way when y'all ain't had no scholars. But I said, I hope them folk that he blowing at, Benaiah and them, I hope them folk, Kelly and them, Dante, I hope them folk know who he blowing at. Because this ain't the camp work. This ain't the camp that putting out information like this. So I expected the other guy to reply, Dante to reply, go ahead, Dunamis. I want to play what he said here. And I'll show y'all a couple of the TikTok clips that everybody was like, yeah, David Richardson finally gave him that work. Finally went on Berean and gave him that work, They wasn't expecting him to pop up on there. Nobody had nothing to say. But go ahead.
Nah, it's for more. So with the whole pure bloodline talking point in Israel, what are your thoughts, more? Should that be putting down because of mixed multitude and how they're converts, or what?
I'm getting ready to block the chat. I never blocked them. I'm getting ready to block the chat right now. Go ahead, more. I'm sorry.
So, Dunamis, my position is that Israel is a nation of converts, right? So, like starting with Abraham, right? Like the whole concept is a concept of converts and whatnot. So there is no. The nation itself doesn't have a pure bloodline. If you want to talk about Abraham having a bloodline, yeah, 100%. But I mean, fam, like Jordan asked me a question in the chat, like, wouldn't like basically Esau have the same haplogroup? Yeah. So would Ishmael, etc., etc., etc. Like, so like there's like at the end of the day, beefing over the genealogy is only going to get you so far. Like it's a waste of time at one point, right? I prefer like eventually we got to talk about what do you believe? You know what I'm saying? And so to me, that's gonna be way more important than the genetic concept, right? I like talking about genetics.
Like what Red Letter just said, who's your brother, this and that. Y'all, I hope y'all know he Orthodox more talking good right now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, more. I was just saying, I agree the same thing, brother.
I was going to quickly just add this last point, Dunamis, that one of the main reasons why I talk about genetics is because when you really get into it, bro, it erases racism if you're sincere. The information, like, so again, when you're hearing Dante read off all these different groups of people who look different from him having the same genetics, that's got to eradicate racism if you're serious. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Dunamis, you got it.
No, yeah, I'm with you on that because a lot of the stuff with the Israel has a phenotype. Israel's this, and if we nation building, to me, Israel's always seemed to be mixed, open to folks to come in who want to accept their beliefs.
But real quick, Dunamis, real quick, not to cut you, but like, so Israel, this is what genetics also does. Israel did air quotes did have a phenotype, and then they started mixing. Genetics is fluid, fam. We don't look like there's nobody who looks just like like their descendants from 10,000 years ago. That's not how genetics works, fam. We've intermixed all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all gonna be dealing with prophecy with that Bible and whose bloodline? When y'all been, I don't know how that bloodline. I might have to ride with more on that. I don't know how that bloodline thing is gonna work. Where y'all have been mixing with folk, and you talk about it's a pure bloodline. The strangers, they weren't that pure, and all of this other stuff. That's where the confusion is coming in with the prophecy and the scriptures and DNA. Go ahead, more. Then I'm I think then COVID. It was a question for COVID. Oh no, the Hebrew of Israel.
No. I wish you more on that one. I wish you. Now that's all because that's to me it comes the argument, and it can't really go forward in terms of what's going on, and the imposter doctrine. I don't know. To me, it doesn't build.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to tell you, bro. Yeah, like man, exactly right. And how do you prove a convert over time? And if you descend from converts, do you not legally still have rights in the nation of Israel?
No, other she don't mind if she's a convert. That's good. That make me feel better. She's like, I don't mind if I'm a convert. And I remember Plummer saying that too, that he didn't mind if he was a convert or if they're converts. If they're converts, I guess y'all want them to accept Jesus' fervent charity, and then you'll accept them. Red Letter, because for some reason it's beef with those people right there. Come
Well,
on.
I think the beef is more so as they know that there are a lot of bloodline Israelites, converts, whatever you want to say. Scriptures say that if you're a convert, you're treated as one born in the land. So we're not even going to worry about the convert thing. Let's go with the fact that there are blacks here who don't have an identity, who haven't had an identity in 400 plus years.
Are
Who
you
are
just
finding
giving
out.
anybody identity? Father God, I'm sorry.
Well,
That's it. Go ahead.
Hold on,
never mind.
we're not stealing an identity, but you come to the realization that you fit the prophecy, and DNA matches up with a lot of us who are claiming to be Israel. A lot of us have Jew, according to DNA sources, that we have some type of what we would call ethnicity claim coming from that region. So now that we're claiming it, you have those that are angry because of all the lies that have been told. So they're speaking out of emotion. A lot of people are speaking out of anger. But then you have those who have sound mind, who are in Christ, like myself, who understand that just because I'm Israel, I still got a work to do. I still got to get Christ in my heart and be reborn, and not make that the priority, being Israel, but being Israel inwardly the priority, which means attaining to the fruits of the Spirit, which was originally the mission through the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, you have those that are Jewish who have taken on Judaism, who are saying to us, who are now coming back to our heritage, that we have to convert to Judaism. Now you want to Judaize me. Now you want to, the same thing the church don't want us to do to them, they don't have a problem with them doing to us. We don't want to be Judaized. We want to keep following Christ.
That's fine. They don't want to be Tobanized. Hey, yo, he blowing right now. Oh, man. Hold on, Red Letter. Hold on. Hebrew or Israel, come to the microphone. Oh, man.
Shalom. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a member and co-founder of the YAP game with Moore, Yeshub, or Genesis 49ers, Sean Shari, Elcom, Rue, and various others. So I just want to make a quick disclaimer that in our group we have no issue with European Jewry or Ashkenazi or Sephardic Jews, because we do believe that they descend from ancient Israelites. As Moore just said, phenotype doesn't matter in terms of genotype.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going. I just gotta keep going. I gotta walk away.
Because phenotypes can always flip and change as people migrate and go about the world. Now, one thing I want to address when it came to, I believe his name is Damon Richardson.
Yes.
But
wait, I'm sorry. Before you say that, so you do believe what do you also answer the question? Go ahead and talk about the Damon Richardson, but I'm gonna walk away. I want you to also answer the question that, because you hear a lot of people in Israel, because what you say you believe about Ashkenazi and them, what you say you believe, a lot of Israel in this community don't believe that, and they're teaching them people fake Revelation 2:9-3:9. Got to preach against them. They part of holding back the awakening and all of this other stuff. How do you feel when you hear that type of teaching? Being somebody that studied the science of DNA or whatever, and understand it a little more than the average person in this community. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'll never call Jewish people Rev 3:9 or 2:9. I honestly think that's a bit anti-Semitic. I wouldn't say that. I would say that when it comes to Jewish people, they do have genetic ties to the Levant, whether they have E markers or they have J markers. They have kinetic links to ancient populations from the Neolithic all the way to the Bronze Age in the Levant. And many African Americans are actually related to Jews. Most people don't even realize that, but many African Americans are related to them. And as a matter of fact, we'll touch on that briefly. Sunday, we have a show coming out on the YAP Gang channel called YAP Gang Scholarship. And we're going to touch on what Dante said. We're going to touch on what Damon said, and various other things Sunday night. So if you want
to touch on some of that thing right now, you heard it with Damon Richardson, and Orthodox Moore was just saying that y'all were trying to reach out with some information. You could touch on some of that right now if you want to. Like I said, I got to walk away, but I can go all the way up.
Yeah, I had an issue with what Damon said, because he was basically saying that we originated in West Central Africa. And that really doesn't make sense if you believe in the biblical narrative. that there was a global flood, and then only 8 people survived the flood: Noah and his family, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and that the ark rested somewhere in the Middle East, whether it's Mount Ararat or Mount Judy. If that's the case, then by default, we couldn't have originated in West and Central Africa. We would have had to migrate from Mesopotamia, where the ark rested, into West and Central Africa. If we believe that all humans today descend from Noah, which I believe, all of YAP Game believes this. So that's things that that needs to be pointed out and understood. Now, of course, I don't know if Damon believes in the full concept of evolution, that we all evolved in Africa from apes and stuff like that, and that's why we've been stuck in West and Central Africa. But I've always had the issue with us being just originating in West and Central Africa, because you have to believe in the concept at that point that we all came from Africa, and we just descend from a group of people that went west, that basically stayed in Africa and then migrate out. But even if we were to go with the evolutionary concept, haplogroup DE likely has its origin in the Middle East anyways. It likely has an Asian origin and back migrated. So even with that idea, we can't say that E1B1A markers originated in West and Central Africa. As a matter of fact, the oldest E1B1A markers we find in Africa belong to Ramses III, who was a pharaoh of Egypt, and his son. And there was an old E1B1A2 marker that was found in Ethiopia, but we haven't found any E1B1A markers, for instance, 3,000 years ago in West and Central Africa. It seems to have been absent, but we do find A and B markers. But understanding the biblical concept and following it, that we come from Noah's Ark in Mesopotamia and migrated into Africa, I think that's important to understand. Nobody originated anywhere. Everybody migrated to where they are today.
But do me a favor, look at the screen and answer. I think this is Jay, this is for him, right? He said, stop doing reaction videos. Well, what do you do if you're trying to present it from? I don't know. I'm not trying to help. No. Stop doing reaction videos and actually sit down with Damon or live debate him, please. Enough is enough. I believe that was for you after saying you said you're going to do a video and you're going to touch on it. What would you say to somebody like this gentleman right here that's saying that to you?
I don't mind talking to him. As a matter of fact, Yeshua, or Genesis 49ers, he goes by 2 different names. He messaged Damon on Facebook and told him, do you want to come on and have a live discussion? So Yap Gang has actually already offered a live discussion with Damon. First, we were going to let Damon air out all of his points. So Yeshua was going to have him have his own show to himself to just air out everything. And then we'll have possibly a second show where we both exchange different point of views. And so yeah, we kind of we're trying to get that live started. But
y'all are under the impression that the reaction wasn't basically y'all feel like he blew y'all off. I didn't even know people reached out to Israelites, reached out to him to try to argue their points or whatever. I
don't want to make the assumption that he blew us off. He could have been busy that day. I mean, okay. The holidays is coming up, so who knows what's going on. So we're just waiting for a response at this moment. And I also want to point out a few things here. He is right about some things. I'm not going to say he was completely wrong about everything. He's right that Jews are not the descendants of Khazars. Khazars are a very specific ethnic group. We even have their remains, and Jewish people do not connect to Khazars. They connect to Levantine and Middle Eastern populations, as well as having a little bit of European DNA in them as well. But yeah, he's right about that point. They're not Khazars.
Now listen to this, y'all. Now y'all heard that, right? Because y'all know there's a lot of people. I know camps, but there's a lot of non-campers that's trying to say that those people, y'all push that Khazar theory. There's a lot of y'all in here. Don't get quiet now. Don't crawl up underneath no rock right now. So if Richardson was right about that, and there's so many of y'all, and that's in Israel, that's heavy doctrine right there. How many people been on my channel that promoted that 13th tribe stuff that they converted in the 8th century? Go ahead, brother. I keep saying my bad.
Now, go ahead.
I'll mute myself.
Now, the other aspect of Damon, like I said, obviously he's right about Jews not being Khazars, but the other thing is he's wrong about saying that West Africans don't have any Levantine DNA, or that there is no West African genetics in ancient like Jews or whatever. He's wrong about that part, and we're going to touch on that again this Sunday. If y'all want to check it out, if you Berean want to do a live on that live, but he's wrong about that part. There is definitely Levantine DNA in West and Central African populations, and there definitely is a West African presence in the Levant during the period of the kingdoms of Israel, and we're going to illustrate that with DNA.
Hey, so Hebrew Israel. Oh, my bad. So, what are your thoughts on the genetics? I don't know if it's geneticist or what. Aaron. God, Aaron. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, he's not really. Most geneticists would kind of see him as a. I don't want to use. I'm not being rude when I say this, but as a quack. He's not well respected in the scientific community, to put things lightly.
Okay, can I ask that because there's a brother who came on the other day with two of his papers showing that they were. Jordan brought him up, Berean, and showed reading his papers the other day, them two articles. So if people present his work, Hebrew Israel, I don't know. It's like how do we go forward when a lot of people take his work as scholarly and as peer reviewed and what? How do we do that?
All right, so one way to do that is to look at the latest studies dealing with the Jewish population, and there's plenty of papers that have came out since Elkike's work. There was a paper that came out in 2020 dealing with the Jewish population as well as the Arab population and the ancient Bronze Age Levant, which I believe is a really good paper. It illustrates that Jews have Middle Eastern Levantine origins. There's plenty of papers that deal with Jews besides Elkike, and you just have to focus on those. Besides this one geneticist, there's like thousands of other geneticists that say otherwise.
Do me a favor, just read the screen real quick, and I'm gonna give it to Minister Casey. The Hebrew of Israel. I'm talking to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat the question. My bad.
The Jews are maternally Western European. Do you agree with that statement I have up on the screen?
I do and I don't, and let me explain why. When it comes to Jews, there's the Jewish community is spread out all over the world. You have Ashkenazi Jews, you have Sephardi Jews, you have Mizrahi Jews, you have Maghrebi Jews, Yemenite Jews, Ethiopian Jews, etc. You even have Jews in China, Kaifeng, and Jews in Afghanistan, the Afghani Jews.
That fulfills scripture. You in the Bible with that, you agree with that, but everywhere they look like those people in the land or similar.
Exactly.
Perfect. They don't all look the same.
Exactly. And all of those Jewish populations and communities don't have maternal DNA from Europe. Really, it's only certain Ashkenazic and Sephardic Jewish populations that have ties to maternal ties to Europeans. I believe
so majority of Jewry around the world are not Europeans, and they even know it.
Yeah, the majority, like, we got to remember, like, Jews aren't just in Europe; they're in other places too.
All right, hold on a minute. Thank you.